Welcome to the Fifth and Goal Sports Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Aaron, Josh, and Johnny.
Welcome to the show. Listeners, viewers, always good to have you back. It is Aaron. It is Josh. Johnny, dead. He's not here, so
happens.
He'll be back next week. When we're try that again. We are holding down the fort until he comes back. Are we though? After that we just have to quit. Josh, what's going on, man? How are you doing?
I feel like I'm holding down the fort. I feel like I'm holding down the fort. But I could very well not be. This is the danger of only two of us. We have to now really make sure that we're both on it because there is no gap.
Yeah.
There's no room for one of us to just verge into chaos.
It's true.
If we have to pull producer Chris from the void, it's so painful going in and out that
Right.
There's just no way that I can in good conscience force him to come back in.
Yeah.
So we have to, I mean, you're going to see an A game from both of us simply because our co-host has essentially pulled a Luka or a rest of the Lakers, and we have to LeBron this thing.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, LeBroning this thing currently means we'd be down 0-3. We'll get
I guess
to that.
in this case, I don't know who our Thunder is in this case.
Yeah. You're right, Josh, though. We do need to be on our A game. That's why for the next hour and a half, we're talking nothing but soccer. Like we finally got rid of the guy that doesn't care anything about that.
Let's talk about Tottenham, I think.
That's right. Here's what we will be talking about is some NHL NBA recap. Obviously, we are still in the second round of the postseason. I have some thoughts on the NCAA's new proposal for eligibility because that has been a topic of conversation over the last, few weeks, few months, whatever, few years, actually, at this point, kind of. We're also going to talk some WNBA. The season just started. There's a lot of things happening there. There's new franchises this year. There's more coming. So we've got some thoughts on that as well. Plus, we'll wrap up with some picks of the week, what we're following, all that. As well. Josh, I had a good weekend this weekend.
Nice.
I talked about it last week. I went to the Reds Stadium for Star Wars Day on Saturday. It was fantastic on a number of different levels. Number one, perfect weather. Like it was hot if you were in the sun, but I was in the shade the whole time, which was great because also if not, I would have been beat red on this show here today if you're watching on YouTube. So that was great. The Reds won. Their first win in over a week because they decided, hey, let's lose 8 games in a row after starting the season with the best start in 20 years. What if we ruined it in a week? But they won on Saturday. That snapped the streak. They won on Sunday. They won the series. But the best part, I've got it over here. The best part is, especially if you're watching on YouTube, I'm holding up Grogu holding a baseball with the Reds logo.
Look at that.
So pretty good stuff.
Leave it to the Reds to finally spend money on something.
Yeah. Starting anything? No. Starting outfielder? No. That can hit above the Mendoza line? No. But Grogu, yes. So that was great. I did some research because we talked a few weeks ago about baseball food. And we talked specifically about the Reds offering, which is a banana split with a dozen donuts in the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And I was ready. It was like 3 p.m. Is that when you want to eat that? I don't know, but that's what time it was. I walked up there, like I found it. It was like halfway around the stadium, walked all the way there. I'm like, oh, Josh is going to be so proud of me. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why I was assuming it wasn't going to be expensive, but then I got there and it was $24. I was like, I can't. Dude,
no.
If you were there, Josh, if Johnny was there, I think we could knock it out.
Oh,
it wouldn't be crazy.
When we did the footlong cookie, we can do that because in reality it was like $5, even if it's $7.
Right.
It's like, all right, we'll do this once. It's fine. I'm not walking in, and I'm glad you brought this up. I wasn't going to do this. It's not enough for what I'm following, but it is enough for me to talk about the 23-inch hot dog that the Colorado Rockies have unveiled.
Oh,
And it's a pound of all beef glizzy on a 19-inch sub roll, classic, whatever. It's $45.
what?
And it's like, I understand conceptually. Okay, this is Big Lizzy. All right, we respect the hustle. I don't see, even as a joke, wanting to drop $45. Especially, I mean, and no disrespect to the Rockies.
Crazy. Yeah,
I'm not spending more on the dog than I did the ticket.
yeah.
I realize it doesn't work everywhere. Yes, but the idea of I gotta have standards, and $24 for
like I paid less than $24 to get to the game.
Yeah,
well, not to get to the game. That probably costs more than the actual ticket itself. But my ticket into the game, let me specify, was less than $24.
If you guys are hurting that much for money, raise the prices by, I don't know, $2, and then make the concessions reasonable. There's no way you need all the profit. There's no way you guys are just skating by with a $24 thing that I can recreate in the aggregate on the way home for a quarter of that price.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna go to
or
Bill's.
Just in other parts of the ballpark. I did get a stadium hot dog on Saturday. So that was good.
You have to.
By the way, speaking of concessions, and I promise we'll actually get to what I said we were going to get to in this episode.
Hey, there's no Johnny to pull us back.
Yeah, exactly. So you're just on my
free range podcasting right here,
which is a dangerous place to be. Speaking of cheap concessions, Atlanta, we talked about all the World Cup issues, right? Like crazy prices, issues with transportation. Like we've documented it all. There's a clip on the podcast channel about it where a lot of you all, and on our TikTok and other places where you all were like, yep, we agree. Which if you've seen our videos, that almost never happens in terms of the comments or really comments of any video. But Atlanta, our great folks over there are keeping the concession prices at Mercedes-Benz Stadium low, just like they do for Falcons games, just like they did for the national championship a couple years ago, just like they do for just about any event that's in that building. They're doing the same for the World Cup. So hats off to them. We are 1 month away, almost exactly, from the World Cup. So we'll talk about that more as we get closer, when Johnny is not dead. We'll talk more about that. But for now, Josh, last week we made fun of Boston, deservedly so. This week we're targeting another Northeast city because it's Philadelphia. You guys went 0-8 in the second round of the playoffs, which, good for you for making the second round of the playoffs. But Philly, the 76ers, wiped out by the New York Knicks in not even dramatic fashion, just sad fashion by about 30. And then the Flyers, who honestly might be a great team, like they took care of the Pittsburgh Penguins, but they ran into the buzzsaw that is the Carolina Hurricanes, who are 8-0 in the Stanley Cup so far.
It's crazy. I did see, and I will say, the Philadelphia, as far as 76ers are concerned, there was some and maybe just because of the nature of how well the Knicks have been playing, there was a little bit of like a tongue-in-cheek of, hey, when we said we wanted Boston, that was the only team we said we wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, at least on both, it wasn't on both of these, again, swept is swept. It's not good. It's bad. You feel bad. Everybody is sad. These felt like less, again, second round, you aren't as, I didn't get the vibe that these were just, everybody collapsed. This was just some of the worst mismatches.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, it could just be that, especially on the NHL side, it could be just that the Hurricanes are that good, and so far they've proven that.
Absolutely.
So we also have games happening tonight as we're recording on Monday, May 11th. The Pistons Cavs game 4. Johnny will really talk about that when he's back next week because that series will be concluded. Right now, as we sit, Pistons up 2-1 with game 4 in Cleveland. But I think the interesting thing is in the West, obviously you've got the whole Spurs Timberwolves thing. You had Wemby getting ejected. He's not going to be suspended, so he's back for Game 5. That was the whole thing. But one of the interesting questions I think coming out of the other series in the West between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Los Angeles Lakers is not necessarily who's going to win, because it's 3-0 Oklahoma City. The Lakers have had no answer for the Thunder, nor has any other team, because the Thunder are also undefeated in the playoffs. But Josh, I'm curious your thoughts. Like, let's say the Lakers lose tonight. That series ends, which honestly, that would not be surprising. LeBron is 41. Could tonight be, which, yeah, it is hilarious considering what he's still doing. And I think I know the answer to this, and I think I know what you're going to answer, and I think I know what Johnny would answer. But could tonight be LeBron's last game?
No.
I'm with you.
There's no way. He is still, hey, Skip, shut up.
Yeah, for real.
You're old. Nobody likes you anymore. LeBron's 9. And longevity doesn't count.
Like, LeBron's career
I'm so
lasted
sorry.
longer than Skip's did, which is kind of crazy.
So I love how longevity got thrown as like, oh no, it just becomes like a liability or something.
Yeah, it's a negative somehow.
Yeah, it's a negative. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
He's top 9. He might be top 9 at 41 relative to all these guys when they retired at like 32. Sorry, we're going to talk about the time that Jordan spent at the Wizards. It was okay. It was fine. But he gets to have the apology. It's almost an apology. God, we think of him as the Bulls. He was the go to the Bulls. Yeah. He had some victory laps at the Wizards, and we just kind of let him have it. That's okay. Tim Duncan got to hang around. And I'm not disrespecting Tim Duncan. Kobe had a farewell tour. Again, it was fine. These are totally normal things. It's totally okay. I am fine with all of these things. I think it helps this team. I think it helps the league. Except when you get to LeBron. And frankly, I mean, it's not just LeBron, but let's just go ahead and talk about LeBron. How many other 41-year-olds do you know? How many other people who are 6 to 8 years older than the rest of I don't know what the average age of the NBA is off the top of my head. I can imagine LeBron's
probably
on the
30.
I was going to say, when you're someone who is anywhere from 8 to 11 years older than the average age of the league, getting criticized because you can't carry your heavily injured team to get unswept. I'm sorry, Johnny. Aaron made a face.
Yeah, the average age of NBA players in 2026. I'm just trying to confirm that this is correct, but there are multiple things telling me that the average age is 26.4. So he's a good 15 years older than average.
And is he outperforming everybody in the league? No, but that was never the question. Is he outperforming well beyond what anybody would expect of him, not just at his age, but at this state in his career relative to what the expectations of the Lakers were a month and a half ago? Yeah. I mean, you have every single person on that team who has, for one reason or another, just not been able to be at the level they need to be, whether it's, straight up injuries, just not performing in the way they should be, all these things. Like that LeBron that we were talking about, and when I say we, I mean the collective hive mind that is NBA Twitter.
Yeah.
The good side, the side that I'm on, the other side is bad. And that's how it's always been and how it always will be. If he gets at least one game if he can pick up one game against the Thunder,
sure,
it's a good postseason.
Yeah.
We were talking, Johnny was talking about a gentleman's sweep, and we all kind of agreed with him a few weeks ago.
Well, and that was against Houston, my dude.
Exactly, against Houston. And we're like, I mean, in any other case, it'd be okay, but like, it's just him and Reeves.
Yeah.
What else is going to happen?
And Ayton's kind of working against the Lakers in this series. I'm with you. I don't think it's the last we see of LeBron.
No.
even though he's 41. And he said before, in fairness, he said before that he doesn't want a farewell tour. Like, he's obviously deserving of it. That's not what we're really talking about. Like, that's up to him. If he doesn't want it, then fine. He'll just disappear into, well, he's not really going to disappear into the void, because I think to some extent he'll be around. Like, if nothing else, Bronny's still in the Lakers, so he'll be there. Sure. But I think that he gives it one more go because Bronny's still there. Like, they have that dynamic. I think of all the sound bites coming from him and all the things that have happened, like him and his son throwing alley-oops to each other in the playoffs, like, that has to reinvigorate you. And I'm not saying LeBron even needs that, because clearly, like, the motor's still there. And it's not perfect. Like, he's not going to just take over the series, and the Lakers are not going to come back from 3-0. They're probably getting swept tonight. But I'm interested in that piece. I'm also interested in the piece of, like, okay, you do have Luka. What that means at this point, I don't know for the Lakers, because with all, the injury stuff, like, he hasn't played in the postseason. But I'd be interested, like, would he consider one more try with Luka in the postseason and just see, and hopefully, you're hoping, you're begging, you're praying he's healthy. Austin Reeves is healthy. LeBron is still in the picture doing what he, because I mean, when those guys went out, he flipped a switch and was like, okay, I'm back to number one priority LeBron. Will he go back to like number 2A or 2B priority and then let some other people, like, I don't know what all that looks like. But I don't think it ends tonight or whenever the Lakers get eliminated from the postseason. I don't see it. He's playing too well still. Like, it's crazy. But yes, average age of the NBA player, 26.4, which is slightly older than 26.2 from the previous 3 seasons, according to NBAage.com. So I'm trying to find the average age for each team, and I just found it. And excellent. Incredibly, the Lakers are not. I just kind of assumed, well, LeBron's 41, so are the Lakers number 1. They're not, actually. They're ranked 8th in that category. Their average age is 26.8, which is interesting. But they do have the oldest forward in the league because LeBron.
Yes.
Anyways, we're talking about Anthony Edwards on Minnesota. Like, okay, is this the year he breaks through and really gets like the Timberwolves to an NBA Finals or something like that? And we're talking about a 24-year-old, which is crazy. Speaking of age, here's my segue into the next segment.
I'm so ready for it. I'm so ready.
New NCAA, we'll call it an eligibility rule proposed change. It's not official yet. The thought is that it will be. But here's what's going to happen. Right now, as we speak, college football and college sports are kind of a mess. We've talked about it. Transfer portal, NIL, like we're in the wild, wild west. Anything goes, including you playing professional basketball and then coming back to Alabama and say, hey guys, remember me? I used to play here. Can I play? And Alabama says, sure, we'd love that. Eventually, obviously, the courts ruled that down. But yes, that was a real thing that happened in college basketball, in case you missed it. So eligibility for college athletes we're in a very interesting time for that right now. The NCAA, who has been the most jailed organization in our podcast history, has returned. And they're like, hey, we have an idea. We have a rule that we'd like to institute. And it is as following. This change would allow Division I athletes to compete in 5 seasons within a 5-year period. And that period starts either when you graduate from high school or when you turn 19. That's when the clock starts on those 5 years. You have 5 years. You could play in 5 seasons, but there's not going to be, obviously, like the COVID thing was its own thing. So, everyone got an extra year for that, but you're not going to have this thing where like if you're Diego Pavia and you play a couple years in JUCO and you pop over to New Mexico State and then Vanderbilt and you're like 26 years old or whatever he is, it's like, hey, NCAA, those JUCO years don't count. I'm suing and I'm going to go play for Vanderbilt and I'm going to go finish runner-up in the Heisman. So that's what happened there. There's other things happening too, like Trinidad Chambliss is back at Ole Miss now, kind of same deal, where he played a couple years of junior college. He had also apparently submitted for an injury waiver, and that was denied, and then he sued the NCAA, and now he's able to play again for year number 6 or whatever. Joey Aguilar tried to play his 8th year in college football, because why not? I know that one was turned down, but there's a lot of these situations that are popping up that, you know, is, again, wild, wild west. So this is what the NCAA is proposing. Either you graduate high school or you turn 19. That's when this clock starts. 5 years of eligibility, then it's over. If, assuming this passes, Josh, what's your just like first thoughts on what this system looks like?
My gut reaction is I am totally fine with this. There's going to be edge cases. You put here in the notes, there's a chance that when it comes to some traditions like college hockey, where high school students will sometimes play like an intermediate, either junior hockey or something like that, where it's not college, but they're college aged. They'll basically redshirt themselves almost. There's some of these edge cases where you'd probably have to do some litigation just to make sure that it's not just ruining, that it doesn't unfairly target a legitimate culture thing. However,
and there's some stipulations put in for that for the most part.
And so edge cases aside, I think that it is a wise idea. I think that it allows for a reasonable amount of time to go through the college experience. I think when it comes to fairness, I'm not as big into the age arguments, especially when I saw them being levied against this most recent Indiana football team, especially when it was like relative to Miami. The age ranges were pretty much the same. People just wanted to be upset. While I'm not as big a proponent of the age thing, I'm not going to deny that a 28 or 29-year-old could potentially be a little bit more developed than a 19-year-old.
Yeah, right.
When it comes to physical strength and just time. So I think it helps keep it. We've jumped we've jumped the ship when it comes to, these are just college athletes.
Yeah.
That was an argument that died back in like
20
the
years
80s.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It died around the first SMU death penalty. It's big money, it's big business. Student athletes, you can't have a multi-billion-dollar business while also calling these guys essentially volunteers. It's not how it works.
Yeah, that's what the courts decided too. So you're correct.
And I largely agree. Yeah, I am okay with sitting in the world that I'm okay with the logic of that. I have no issue with that. Knowing that, we've seen it's so easy to take advantage of some of the Wild Westness of what happened during COVID. Again, legitimate things, but not because it brought up issues that were never considered. We saw how quickly people would try and reset the rules. People will find loopholes. That's part of human nature. You're going to find what's the thing you build an 11-foot wall, someone's going to build a 12-foot ladder. Like this is the give and take of this stuff. However, if we're going to preserve just the slightest bit of that original college athletics, I think preserving the collegeness of it, at least when it comes to 19 to 23, 18 to 23, I think that is totally fair. I don't see any, other than the edge cases, I don't see anything crazy with this. When I'm trying to think of like how this could be misinterpreted or how this could potentially be harmful. And at least off the top of my head, I'm not seeing anything, but obviously this is guts. So
Yeah, absolutely. And it's still a proposed change. It has yet to go through officially. The biggest thing, and unless I'm misinterpreting this, but I don't think I am, there's no injury waiver in this 5-year system.
Oh.
So if you are just like kind of unlucky and you tear an ACL 1 year and then you're rehabbing and you play a couple games and then, you tear the same ACL or you get a different injury, you break your collarbone, like something along those lines, that's where, and I'm going to double check that before I go on a rant about this because I want to be correct. But if I'm not mistaken, that is how this system is set up. And I don't love that. I like the injury, basically like you can redshirt if you're injured. Now, I will also say too, this is specifically for Division I at the Division I level. Because you're not really having this issue anywhere but the Division I level, to my understanding. So I'll throw that out there as well. You mentioned college hockey. I wish that the NCAA, and I understand why I don't agree with it, but I understand why they do it. It's just kind of a blanket thing for all of the sports within if you want to call it this, the NCAA portfolio. Because like college hockey, that's going to really throw a wrench in things because that's like kind of the traditional path. You go play junior hockey, you go play in like the CHL for a year or two. When you're about 20, 21, that's typically when players play college hockey, or at least that's when they enroll as freshmen. And that's not every case, but that's a significant number of cases that this particular rule raises an issue in that sport. I wish the NCAA would litigate stuff specific to each sport. Mm-hmm. And that's not the case here. And I guess like in some way I have to say, well, NCAA, like, okay, good. You're trying to do your job, because what the NCAA has done, at least again, we're talking the high level of sports and specifically football and basketball mostly. What they have interpreted their job to mean is say, oh, Congress, help us, which is not good, because the only organization with more red tape and litigation and sitting on their hands and not really accomplishing much more than the NCAA is probably Congress. So that's not super helpful. And for the most part, Congress has said, they've helped out here and there, but for the most part, the courts have just told the NCAA, like, no, you guys are wrong. So tough. So I guess I have to give some credit to the NCAA. Like, hey, you did something. Good job. Congratulations. It appears as though you're trying to do your job, which is good. It doesn't hit the mark for everything, which is not a huge surprise, but that's kind of where I land on it. I'm like, okay, there was an attempt.
Yeah. And I will say the current, this was adopted in 2022, the current, what they call the hardship waiver, what we would refer to as the medical red shirt. Basically, it has to trigger before, and this is D1. It varies before D2 and 3, but we'll just talk about 1. You can't have participated in more than 30% of the games of that season before you trigger it.
Okay.
And they give you an additional, you regain 1 season of eligibility.
Okay, good. Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at that now. So that's good. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a chance that they can keep that. And so 5 years with an option of 6 if it's if there's a medical hardship. I think that would be totally, unless I'm seeing something, I was looking through.
It's hard to say, because now I'm the more I dig into this, like, it is really complicated.
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking
it's the NCAA.
About, like, it's the NCAA. Like, for reference, like, you would think this could be pretty straightforward. Nothing is with the NCAA.
Please.
When they told, I believe it was the Trinidad Chambliss case, when they basically ruled him eligible, the judge didn't say, like, Chambliss, you're good, go bring the Rebels a championship. They read like some 90-minute description of like all of the findings and details and everything. So like this stuff is messy. So I think the injury waivers is, as you said, Josh, I think it's a thing still, which is good.
Sure.
But now I'm seeing something from like a law company that's saying like the new model would largely eliminate traditional red shirts and most waivers. So TBD. I guess we'll find out when this thing's actually in place or something along those lines. Yeah. Or if you know more than we do, let us know.
Yeah,
but that's the way we see it.
I don't know, and if you want to, I found online a 1-page PDF.
Great!
That is the hardship waiver application.
Should I apply just to see if I have eligibility?
Yeah, it's NCAA.org.
We got to get our eligibility in, Josh, before this passes, because we're like we could sue the NCAA and get a year.
Absolutely. Okay, so student athlete name. What's our name? Are we just putting your legal name in?
Probably.
I won't say. All right, perfect. First name, last name in there. Season requesting waiver. What do you want to waive? What season are you waiving?
I'm going to go 2017 to 18. If you know,
for injuries, yes. For injuries or illnesses that occurred on or after August 1st, 2022 is the issue.
Oh. Well, okay. retroactive to 2022.
Okay, retroactive to 2022. So, but I will say the 2017-2018 season.
Yeah.
All right, what sport?
Oh, that's the question. We'll go hoops. We'll say basketball.
That's
the only one I actually played in high school.
It's going into hoops, and we're this is D1, so we can't use our alma mater.
Oh, okay. This really opens the options here.
Mm-hmm.
I've officially opened my Division I basketball recruiting. Western Kentucky. I want to go play for Big Red. I literally have a Big Red basketball shirt. So,
all right. Student athlete name, Aaron, last name, season requesting waiver, 2017-2018 season.
Yep.
Institution, Western Kentucky, sport hoops. All right. I've completed the championship segment schedule clearly, identifies all forms of competition, including preseason exhibitions. I'm just going to click agree on some of these things.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Individual sports, how many Monday? Okay. Student athletes participation counts. How many times did you play? I want to go 0 because you technically that
is the accurate answer. Yes.
The final date of completion. This was the last thing you would have done. Would have been the summer of 2017 technically.
Is it saying theoretically when I pre-injury? Is that what it's asking?
Yeah, basically student athletes final contest. So I forget what your last day of.
If you never played in a contest, do you have a final contest?
I'm counting that beach camp you did.
Okay. Yeah, then yes, summer of 17. I think.
I'm going to go August 4th.
No, 16. Sorry, I got the years wrong. It's 16 to 17.
That's right.
I just messed up your entire form. Sorry.
I can't. It doesn't let me.
That's okay. It's fine. They don't need to know.
They know.
Yeah.
08, 09.
Yeah, we're really 16, 17 would have been correct.
There we go. I have to do month, day, year for the NCAA to read this PDF.
Yeah.
30% sports denominator before the half, submitted by signature. I'll email you this. That way you can print it off.
Yeah.
Signature. And then reason for denial.
I'd like to fax it to the NCAA.
All right. And then for the conference use only, so you could probably send this to a compliance officer personally.
Yep.
Final decision denied if there's reason for denial. And this is important.
There won't be.
Participation exceeded
if
3.
There is, I'll sue.
Participation exceeded the 30% limit. It didn't.
No, 0. Technically, it's if you divide by 0. I don't know what that means, but
yeah,
eligible. I think it's what it means.
The injury/illness occurred in the second half of the season. Dare I say it did not?
Well, it occurred in all of the season.
Well, technically, it occurred the entirety of the season. It wasn't recognized.
Yeah.
And then, or if you actually did compete in the second half of the season, I would argue you in a sense, but not in a way that's,
you know what, Josh,
in a way that's not helpful.
I'm hiring you as my lawyer. That's all I know.
Perfect. Yeah. And then lack of contemporaneous medical documentation from treating physician demonstrating incapacitation.
I don't know what any of that meant.
Did you get a doctor's note that said, hey,
that can be accomplished?
I think we can do that pretty easily.
Yeah.
There are videos and photo evidence available.
Yes.
So we'll send this out.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'm excited. Got to work on my hoops after this. So that's college. We'll continue breaking this down because as we get closer to college football, that will present some interesting conversations because as I understand it, when it goes into effect, it goes into effect for everyone. It's not necessarily like, oh, hey there, 29-year-old guy who's been playing college football for 11 years. Let's grandfather you into this thing. As I understand it, again,
a little grandfather.
There's a lot of details here, so I'm doing my best, and the listeners help me out as well. But that's how I understand it. So that's the conversation we'll probably have, and we'll get Johnny's thoughts on this too as we move forward. We could yap about the college football schedule being a nightmare. We can do all these things. But for now, Josh, you've got some thoughts on the WNBA.
Yes.
The season started just this week, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, you know what? Good for us. And by us, I'm saying that we are the WNBA in this situation. But good for us. We started the season on time because that was not necessarily always a given.
This was a to the wire. The season started up on Friday. The collective bargaining agreement technically technically March 18th, like mid-March, we were able to start moving forward, but this really came down to just a few days ago. We narrowly avoided a shutdown, which one would have been, I think, frustrating, not just for the players. Obviously, it's for the players. We're coming off of the first CBA, collective bargaining agreement. If you don't know, it's not college basketball. That was so dumb. Oh, that was so dumb. Roast me, please. Get in the comments.
We'll send you into the void for that one.
Please. The CBA was the first time that it came post the WNBA's exponential growth with young rising talent like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, and a new round of people coming in from the draft. There's been a lot more excitement. I can't get a gosh darn ticket to my own Dallas Wings game.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to see them. And I love the WNBA. I am, just like the NBA, not spending $200 on a ticket. Sorry.
Now, Dallas specifically, I heard that they moved all the games from where they were playing over to the big arena, if I'm not mistaken.
They have, and that has helped a ton.
I don't know if that helps at all, but
it allows more seats to be scalped. But
sure, yeah.
But no, I mean, their original facility, I mean, they were playing in like a 2,400 seat? Oh, 7,000?
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Maybe I was reading something else. Yeah, so, and that's all good. These are good issues to have where it's like, hey, we have visibility. With this, the players came in with a lot of power, so to speak. And again, I'm going to keep following this. There's some side stories and some little controversies that I'm still trying to get good data on. We're having some interesting, like, people getting released on waivers and interesting trades happening. I'm just kind of holding my ground here. But as we start the season, there are, before we even get to the CBA, 2 new teams. Technically 1.5 new teams. We have the resurrected Portland Fire, which was a thing from like 2002. They're alive again.
Yep.
And come on, guys. We got Canadians now. We have the Toronto Tempo. Between them and the previously announced Golden State Valkyries. Yeah.
Yep.
You've had 3 expansion teams coming very recently. That's great. I think that's great for the sport. Interesting to see. I have what is being said, the most like aggressive expansion into a CBA from year to year that has been seen in a long time, if not ever. Here are the highlights. Then this was like a 14-month like battle. If you remember, we didn't really cover it back in the time, but there were previous season like all-star games where everyone was wearing the pay us what, you owe shirts. And there's been this whole collective bargaining battle, really. Lawyers upon lawyers. Here are the new details. And I'm going to give you previous years for reference as well. First off, $7 million salary cap, up from $1.5 million.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Last year. Insane. The CBA in their official statement looks like they're projecting to move that up to potentially $11 million by 2032. So if you're not familiar, salary cap, this is the most that the team can spend, period. This is why movies like Moneyball had to get made with baseball, because the Yankees can just dump their trust funds right into hiring yet another disappointing player. Most other teams have to play with a same set of money. Big jump here. Supermaxes. The max you can pay a player used to be, where are my notes? I have 75 tabs open. The Supermax was $249,244 last year. And you had teams, I'm thinking specifically of like Aja Wilson, who took a pay cut in order to make room for Jewel Lloyd. In order for them both to stay. And it worked out.
Yep.
It worked out. So each of them made essentially the cap. She was paid $200,000 flat, and then Lloyd got the $249,000, 32. Got to get it right under the wire. Supermax is now $1.4 million. So that is a massive, massive jump. For record,
and I do think Asia is very close to that now.
She is, yes. She will be, right now she's projected to be, she'll be right at that. I think right now there's a talk of like 1.338 or something, but yeah, essentially. And they're hoping to grow that to 2.4 million by 2032.
Wow.
Rookie salaries. This was the big one. And I know this was probably where it started for a lot of us, myself included. When we saw Caitlin Clark go from Iowa to Indiana, I was curious what her salary was. And I went, it's $78,000. Now,
a pay cut, probably.
That'll spend in Indianapolis. Like you can live in Indianapolis on that. But the number one overall pick, no option to renegotiate. She's stuck at that 4-year, because she was making $78,000 last year. She couldn't re-up. So first off, they now have what they call the UPIC program, exceptional performance on initial contract. Players can now renegotiate the 4th year of their rookie deal, and renegotiate to a 3-year contract extension, essentially. So they can renegotiate if they're like, great, which makes sense. First round pick. So this current WNBA draft, it was $78,000. Base salary is now $500,000. Second pick is $466, third $436, all the way down. Second and third round picks, the minimum is now $270. So it is one of the most drastic, in my mind, changes between agreements. This is a very aggressive change. Just like you did with me, Aaron, I'm going to give you initial gut reaction on this. Also, this was a big piece. There were lots of WNBA veterans and retired players who were given one-time payments. 100 grand for any retirees with 12 plus years of service, 50,000 for retirees with 8 through 11 years of service, and 30,000 for retirees with 5 to 7 years of service. There's also little things that are less flashy, but things that were very important for the WNBA. They now have league provided housing, league-wide charter air travel, expanded first-class travel accommodations, new facility standards. They were getting issues related to safety, and so they're now investing a little bit more in that. So those costs aren't going to be listed up front like the salaries, but those do factor into the whole that is the CBA.
Yeah, it's all super interesting. I am very interested by it all because like we are all rooting for the WNBA to succeed. Like it's such like, the classic joke with your boys is like, oh, the WNBA, right? Okay, let me give a couple thoughts on that. Number one, do you remember the NBL? No, you don't, because it doesn't exist anymore. It was one of the first professional men's basketball leagues, back when Naismith was hanging up the peach baskets. You don't remember that because it failed. The NBA came along, rescued it. They combined with the ABA a little bit later, and now here we are. The WNBA, it's easy for, I think, just the average fan to compare the WNBA directly with the NBA. And it's not a great comparison on a variety of different levels, even though I know it's the same sport, because the WNBA is so new, relatively speaking. So comparing the WNBA to where it is now compared to the NBA, where it is like 80 years later, is not apples to apples at all. But it's good to see this growth. Like Josh, you talked about the Portland Fire. They had 19,335 fans in attendance for their home opener, their return after 24 years. They sold out the Moda Center. You love to see it. Dallas moving their games, the Wings, to whatever.
College Park Center.
Yeah, College Park Center.
And now I can afford tickets again.
Yay. That's exciting.
$43. I can get in for $43. I can do that.
The surge is happening a little bit. And there's all this conversation of like, oh, well, the WNBA wouldn't make it without the NBA, like paying the money. Like, okay. Like, I'm glad the NBA is doing this. Again, I go back to, you don't know what the NBL is because it died. Like, so it's not just an automatic that something like this will succeed. So I love the fact that the WNBA is moving up. You mentioned all the players that are making that happen. Like Caitlin Clark, obviously probably the biggest, but she's not the only one. Josh, I think the other piece of this too that we've talked about over the last few years is college basketball for women on the women's side. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing too, right? Like that's newer. Like we've only been playing the NCAA tournament in women's college basketball since the 80s. And for much of that time, it was dominated by the same teams, your Tennessees, your UConns, and kind of rinse and repeat. But that has changed. Let me read you the national championships in women's basketball starting in, we'll go from 2009 to 2016 to get, here's just a little sample. So not that long ago, right? Like 15, ish years ago. 09, UConn. 10, UConn. 11, A&M. 12, Baylor. 13, UConn. 14, UConn. 15, UConn. 16, UConn.
Have you been getting that TikTok sound where it's like, here are the Avengers, and it's just Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man?
No, I haven't, but I'm sure I will now. I hope.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy. Why do I bring that up? Because like, if you're a UConn fan, that's great. What a good time for you. If you're anyone else in college basketball, to some extent, like, why bother showing up? But things changed. Starting in 2017, let me read you the champions in women's basketball. 2017, South Carolina. 18, Notre Dame. 19, Baylor. 2020, RIP. 2021, Stanford. 2022, South Carolina. So they're back again. But 23, LSU. 24, South Carolina. 25, UConn. And 26, most recently, UCLA. So there's a couple repeats. Actually, just one. South Carolina had a little bit of a run. But even then, that's separated, right? Like, we're still talking 3 championships in 10 years, but we're not talking about 4 in a row. Basically, what I'm saying is there are more teams that are competing at a national championship level than ever before in women's college basketball, which is great because it puts more teams on the radar, gets more fan interest. I didn't mention Iowa, but obviously Iowa makes back-to-back titles. It's a trickle-down effect. As women's college basketball grows, their stars will grow. Those stars go to the WNBA. That draws interest. So that's a long-winded way of me saying, Josh, to answer your question, like, I love this. This is great. I hope this continues to drive the WNBA forward. I know we mentioned it earlier in the podcast, not this one, but a couple ones ago. Detroit and Cleveland are 2 WNBA franchises coming back as well, which is exciting. So I think this is great. Like, I hope this continues. I hope they continue to expand. I hope it continues to drive interest. And we'll talk more WNBA here in just a second. But those are my thoughts.
Absolutely. I've been seeing a bit of discussion on the classic, what you just said, Aaron, of the WNBA, both fans are going to be really happy now. Like, cool.
Good one, bro.
Yeah, good. Thank you. You are hilarious. Everyone, you are definitely the funniest guy at your frat reunion. Oh, you can still chug like you did. You can do like 30 natty lights. Cool. You are. We are so impressed with you who are 30. You were seeing a lot of like, oh, they're going to go bankrupt now. They've been operating at a loss. This is not going to do a darn thing. They've been operating at a loss to try and rejuvenate this.
Yeah,
this is the jaded version of it is that this is a charity case for the NBA, or the positive spin that we're going to put on this is that this is an effort in investing in something where the market does exist. They just don't know it yet.
It's still young.
It's young.
It's early.
This is how many failed NFL competitors have we tried? How many UFLs, XFLs, AFLs have come and gone, and they're not given anything? Like, this is for a very profitable NBA to be able to at some years dump some money into it, other years be able to make a little bit back on it. Like, you have to spend money in this type of stuff. You have to invest if you want this to be a long-term thing.
Yeah. Josh, it's the same thing we say when we're talking about like ratings in college football. Like,
oh, yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't realize you were a TV exec and you care what the rating was of a game.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Same thing here. Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were a businessman that cares about the break-even balance sheet of the WNBA. Like,
I'm sorry. Are you a business owner in Arlington
and promoting
concerned?
Basketball?
Yeah.
Then good. Why do you care? Like, okay, they're operating at a loss. Are you losing money?
What profit are you turning, my guy?
Yeah, are you a shareholder of the WNBA?
Oh, sure. Hey, show me your call sheet account. Show me your call sheet spreadsheets.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So,
this is operating at a loss. Hey, show me your FanDuel. Show me your FanDuel history.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you operating at a loss? Probably the answer is yes. All right, let's talk more WNBA because we're going to make that our picks of the week.
Sometimes the guys make picks based on their vast knowledge of sports. Sometimes they make picks based on vibes.
I'm going to go ahead and say that Maryland takes down Florida.
Chop this one up for the Gators. Chop a national championship for Florida.
Either way, they're probably going to be wrong. It's time for Picks of the Week.
All right, so Johnny's dead, but Postmortem gave us his picks of the week. Let's recap where we're at, because there's a lot of things still in flux. Our scoreboard is still, because we're dumb and we pick things that are happening well into the future, past season 5. Our scoreboard still is Johnny with 12, Josh with 11, I've got 11. This is episode 19. Next week is episode 20, and that wraps up season 5, and that wraps up season 5 picks of the week. So it is fully crunch time. So we're going to pick something that is happening this week. But before we get there, still in flux for next season, NBA playoff picks, NHL playoff picks, which my Carolina Hurricanes looking real good right now. The Premier League is still happening. That wraps up in about a week and a half. So Johnny will give us updates next week on what has happened there. He's hoping Arsenal wins. He's hoping Tottenham gets relegated. We'll update you on that. Or, you have Google. You can look it up. This week, we're continuing our WNBA conversation because the Washington Mystics travel to the Indiana Fever on Wednesday. Because Johnny's not here, we punish him by making him pick first. So then Josh and I have a chance to pick against him because, you do the math. That's the only way we can catch him. So Johnny did go with the pretty reliable answer of the Indiana Fever at home, which, at least for me, Josh puts myself into a corner. Like, I feel like I need to try to catch up right now. So I'm going with the Mystics. I don't feel great about it. Like, give me some Fever home cooking. That place is going to be packed like usual. So I don't feel great about it, but I got to go Washington. So we'll see.
I am right there with you. This is no vibes, no thoughts, just pure math. If we can go 3-way tie into the season finale, that's what we need to do.
And that'd be pretty epic. And I'm rooting for that.
Because what's my alternative? I agree with Johnny and I'm still a point behind him. That's boring.
Yeah. Last year, these two teams split their season series, but the Fever did win over the Mystics without Caitlin Clark because she was injured for a lot of last year. Caitlin Clark now being on the Fever and a full-time role. I'm with you. I don't feel great about it, but I am rooting for the 3-way tie heading into the season finale. And I think we'll probably end up picking SEC baseball tournament next week. So that could decide it all, which is pretty wild. So that's coming up. That was the fastest picks of the week, maybe ever, but that's okay. We're rolling on.
The guys spent hours scrolling social media, and they found some pretty dumb stuff. Now they want to talk to you about it.
Oh, by the way, I did find there is bowling in Dave & Buster's. Woo. Importantly, it's half off on Wednesdays as of 5 years ago.
That coupon still spends. Let's go.
Good luck. It's time for What We're Following.
What We're Following has its own mind sometimes. because I was planning on talking about Missouri State for what I'm following. And I'll explain why here in just a second. But what we're following moves in mysterious ways because I'm getting ready to talk about Missouri State. And then the Sickos Committee, which you should follow if you're not, sends out a tweet. It comes across my timeline. Apparently, Missouri State is hiring Ryan Lochte as their assistant swimming coach, which is a choice.
It's one of the most choices I've heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He definitely swims.
Yes. 12-time Olympic medalist, in fact.
He's good.
Among other things.
Yeah. He really is swimming's Gronk. So cool.
Now, granted, I said 12-time medalist. He no longer has those medals because they were
at one point
off.
to 12-time medalist.
So that's fascinating, but that's not even what I'm talking about. Josh, do you remember last year we had a segment where we talked about the NCAA football video game, and I think it was just last year's game where each team that was in, maybe it was all of the years, I don't know, but each team in the game, if you played with that team, they could potentially make a little bit of NIL revenue. I don't know if that it's been a long time. Like that may have been like 2 weeks ago. Anyways, that's a thing. If you play with the team, they make money. We found out how much money a team can make if you play as the team in EA college football, 26 specifically. Actually, okay, so this was last year because now I'm finding a Darren Rovell tweet. Anyways, so Missouri State ended up finishing number 69. Insert nice here.
Nice.
Out of 136 FBS schools, and mind you, number 2 in Conference USA in team usage in EA College Football 2026. Apparently, at RW Collingwood, Ryan Collingwood on Twitter reporting this. Apparently, Missouri State announced this in a public meeting today. How much money do you think being 69th out of 136 FBS schools in team usage netted the Missouri State Bears?
It's got, I mean, when you see if you ever see like a B or C list celebrity, or maybe even an A list celebrity that like really just peaked up with the TV show that's now on syndication, they'll joke about I've seen their residual checks and they're usually good natured about it, but like, they'll be like, oh yeah, I got a bunch of checks and they're all for 3 pennies.
Yeah.
And now it's just direct deposit because that's cheaper. But so I'm in kind of in that realm where it's like, oh, I got a royalty for a song that got featured on a TV show in Switzerland. Here's $1. So I'm thinking, like how you said, 69th, nice out of. So we're still technically kind of bottom half-ish. I'll say they made. I'll be generous. I'll say they made like $10.
Oh, it's way more than that.
Oh, it is way more than that?
Yeah. It's not as much as I thought it could be, but apparently, for being that rank, they earned $100,000 in royalty payments. Yeah.
Okay.
That's enough to get you a wide receiver or running back. I don't know if they're pulling a quarterback in for that much, the D1 level.
New form of fraud just dropped. I know that you can do bot accounts. You need bot players.
Oh,
if I'm Tulane, I'm sending I'm hiring a bunch of kids to play NCAA in order to get our revenues up.
Yeah, I will say 69th out of 136. Bravo, Missouri State fans, or just people using this team. That's great. You're basically the halfway rank, but considering the number of Big Ten and SEC and ACC and Big 12 teams are going up against, that's awesome. I can only assume Western Kentucky is number 1 on this list. The full list has not been released to me specifically, but I can only assume. But I mean, that's interesting though. Halfway on this list, 100K. Now, not a lot in the grand scheme of things. Again, that's maybe you can get half a wide receiver or something for that amount of money, like a half scholarship or something. But you know what?
But hey,
that's 100K they wouldn't have had 2 years ago. So
absolutely, it's a little endowment essentially.
Yeah. So shout out Bears.
Shout out Bears. Speaking of Chicago, That's how, that's, you guys.
What a segue.
It's a great segue. The Cubs. We're angry at them again.
Oh.
When
were we angry at them before? Just as
I
Reds
think
fans, were we angry?
I think they were really mean to that fan back in the day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
I think threatening his life and making him go into witness protection.
Okay.
Now that was the fans, and they have since forgiven him. So but that's just why we're now mad at them. Okay. And this is not the fans, this is the organization. Aaron, have you been to Wrigley Field?
I have.
Okay. What's one thing you noticed about Wrigley Field as far as its roof or no roof situation?
There wasn't one on it the last time I went.
You're correct. Yeah. And they're going to keep it that way. Okay. This is not they're going to dome Wrigley Field. Don't worry.
Yeah. The NFL would try, but
NFL absolutely would try. Did you see any nearby bars have maybe rooftop seating?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like left field, I think.
Absolutely. You were thinking specifically of Wrigley View.
Okay.
Wrigley View Rooftop, which is just one of those sports bars that it's a city. Chicago is known as a city. Cities generally have tall buildings. Tall buildings tend to be taller than baseball fields. Wrigley View went, hey, we can market this. So they have, I don't know, it's not a ton of seats, but it's like 20 or 30 seats up top on their own rooftop bar, and you can pay to watch the game. And it's not the world's best view, but it's fine.
You're
Works
there.
out. Yep. You're there. I've seen. I think Cardinals have something similar. I've a lot of places that are built into like a city center. It's just natural. The Chicago Cubs do not like this, and they are currently in the process of suing and moving forward in court, not a settlement, actual court. They allege that Wrigley View Rooftop is breaking the law by selling access to a rooftop building and thereby infringing on the rights of the Cubs to collect that revenue that would have been made in Wrigley Field.
Interesting, because you would just kind of assume the Cubs are the ones like selling those tickets, but clearly not.
Yep. So it's always been a Wrigley View. Okay, so I said 20. I meant 200. Wrigley View can accommodate up to 200 guests through individual and group tickets. They have a sky deck. There was a licensing arrangement. The Cubs took 17% of the Wrigley View revenue.
Okay.
They now just straight up want it all and want it as an extension of their own ticket sales.
Okay.
The issue is it's not their building. If they wanted to build a wall, they can build a wall. But this is an independent building that the Cubs don't own, that happens to be a building that's taller than the stadium and has been able to look at the field. Now, in 1938, courts did affirm, and I believe this was closer to back during like the Pirates broadcasting deal. It was a suit there. They've quote affirms the holding that sports teams have a property rights in profits from their live games, which has been the case. The Cubs now seem to be coming back for everything. They're not settling. It seems like they are moving forward. Just today. Oh no, early last week, the judge assigned to this case denied the arbitration request from Wrigley View. So we're going to go to trial with this.
Chris would like us to know that if the Cubs decide to just build a wall, wouldn't Wrigley View just build a taller ladder?
They will. And that has been the thing. That is exactly what everyone's saying is, hey, they're going to buy drinks. It's going to be a $50 drink and the seat's free. We've done this before.
Yeah, right.
Again, especially the Chicago. You know what they did in the Prohibition? You know what they would do when you couldn't sell alcohol? They would sell you grape juice. And they would go, "Oh, don't leave this grape juice out with this yeast packet for 4 to 6 weeks at such and such a temperature and then strain it because that could make wine and you don't want that."
Yeah.
They did that. They would send cruise and you would just have day cruises, and the day cruises would go 2 miles offshore, which technically put them in international waters where you could have alcohol. There's ways around this. And I think the Cubs if the Cubs say they need a bit more revenue, that it's seriously eating into their like normal, like midweek, like if it's a sellout game, I can't imagine this being an issue. But if it's like a regular game, I'll play a bit of devil's advocate and say I could see like a random like Tuesday night game maybe getting unfairly, like drinks and food are most likely cheaper at this bar than a Wrigley Field. I've not been. I can't verify, but I could imagine this is the case. And overall, it's a cheaper experience. So maybe it's eating into their Tuesday and Thursday games, like a rain out. Maybe that's all I can think of. If they're already making some revenue off of this, which I think is okay, I don't know why they're trying to come for everything.
Yeah, I don't really get it either. A number I have pulled up is $219 million. That's the payroll of the Cubs. So that makes me think, and especially as a Reds fan, when we're sitting there at $131 million, and most of that's probably going to Ken Griffey Jr. still. So part of me is like, you know what, Cubs, you're 8th in spending this year. Like, I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Like, I sort of understand, like, yeah, that is a little weird that another entity is selling tickets to your event, but like, it's not that deep. I don't know. Like, yeah.
And if they've already come up with an agreement where there is some revenue, like I'm like, oh yeah, that's perfect. If they want to try and re-up, cool. Because this was previous to this past year. It was, with Wrigley View, because Wrigley View also had billboards they would put up. Cubs licensing, whatever their name is, they got 70% of revenue from out of stadium rooftop seats and 11% of any billboard revenue. And then when the contract ended, Cubs went, cool. You can't do anything else. You have to remove your seats. So I think they're overplaying their hand.
I would agree. That's kind of where I settle on it. If you disagree or agree with us, let us know. Hit us up on social media, especially those of you that are in Chicago. Wink, wink. Because you're out there and you have been to Cubs games. So that's very interesting. Yeah, the Cubs are too good at baseball, so they can shove it. They can just let them have their fun. Cubs are very good. They've won 10 in a row as of right now, if I'm not mistaken. So the best record in baseball, or at least tied for it as we're sitting here tonight. Folks, so that will wrap us up for the show. Thanks for being here. As always, we appreciate your support of this show. I mentioned it just now, but again, follow us on social media. As I said, we are ticking down until the World Cup. We've got a lot of coverage that we are currently in the background working on, and we're excited to bring to you here over the next few weeks as we get set for kickoff. Looking forward to that. 48 teams this year in the World Cup. So there's a lot to wrap our collective brains around, but we're looking forward to doing that. And of course, we'll be talking NBA, NHL playoffs next week in our season finale. Who will win picks of the week? Will LeBron retire? We won't know that by next week, but I'm just throwing out hypothetical questions. Thanks for being here. Subscribe to us on YouTube or whatever podcast platform you're listening to. It's free. It helps us. It helps you. And then until next week, we'll talk to you then. So for myself, for Josh, for Johnny, who is dead, and for Chris, Johnny, who's in the void, we'll see you all next time. Have a good one.